Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching. This is Zuzana Mukumai, and today my guest is Imola from Netherlands, and welcome to the new episode of the Real Intercultural Couples. Hi, Imola. I'm so excited to meet you here, and I'm so happy that you accepted the invitation.
Yeah, thank you for having me and asking me to be on here. So my name is Imola. I actually just turned 26, which makes me feel a bit old. And yeah, um, together with my partner, we're in the process of me moving to South Africa, and I sort of already moved my stuff and myself here, but we're just getting married the 15th of October, and then after that, hopefully, I get a partner visa, so like a temporary residence where not I don't have to leave every 90 days. So that will give us like a real start of our life together.
Yeah, it's super exciting to meet you actually because I just know you from Instagram, and
Yes.
so you already said you are Dutch South African couple, and I'm super excited like to hear how did you meet? How did it happen?
Yeah, it's actually funny because I went to do an internship here in South Africa for my school, and that was voluntary work, and I was teaching basically, I think how you call it, G, GPU to the children, like the exercises. And we were treating it basically like a holiday because we only had to work a few hours a day, and then the weekends were for us. So we went to go traveling and stuff like that. And then, yeah, the one evening we went out clubbing here in Port Elizabeth, the White Tiger. If people are from PE or around, you know White Tiger. It's quite famous. It's at Summer Strand Beach, and yeah, that one night Nana was there with his old friend from study as well, so he met up with him again, and yeah, that's where we met. We danced, we had a drink, and we kissed, and from there onwards, we went on dates, and it felt like we already knew each other, and it was just very, very good. Like it was very nice to get to know him, and from there onwards, it just developed like on itself. We didn't really have to put in a lot of effort. We were just going on to dates. We had a lot of food dates and a lot of beach walks, and that's when it happened.
Yeah, it's really nice, like how life happens like this. You just went for internship to South Africa, and you met your husband to be. So congratulations on the wedding, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's so exciting because last time I did interview with a lady, she was just announcing that she's expecting baby. Now we have a wedding to happen,
Oh,
so it's
that's
very nice to see.
exciting.
Yes, so that intercultural couples across the board are there and it's working. And I know,
Mm.
like you also talk about it on Instagram, and you mentioned a bit that you were talking of the visas. So you were sometime also in like long distance relationship, right? How
Yes,
did that go?
so we met in March 2019. Then I had to leave South Africa June 2019 because I had to finish my studies. I still had a year to do my university, and I had to do my final year paper. That year in August, Nana came to visit the Netherlands. First time for him to be overseas. That was very exciting. He came down for 2 weeks because he was still working at a brewery, so he couldn't just leave. You know, he was an engineer. Then, lucky for us, he swapped jobs, so he is in IT and he's still in IT, which gives him a lot of freedom because he works from home. So, if he was able to come down to the Netherlands for a bit longer, but yeah, so August he came to me. In October that 2019 I came to him. Then in December until it was March, Nana was in the Netherlands, but then yeah, there was COVID. So then he took the literally the last flight back to South Africa, and he was stuck in Johannesburg for over a month, luckily with one of his good friends. And then it took us 7 months, and then we actually figured out that we were able to meet in Zambia instead of South Africa because that was all closed up. So yeah, we made a plan, met up in Zambia. We were there for a month. Nana was still working, so we couldn't like really discover the country, but it was still, really amazing to to be there together. And then we tried it again. He came to me for a bit. I came to him. Finally, I made the decision to quit my jobs in the Netherlands because I worked in 2 different fitness centers. And yeah, we wanted to close the distance. And for us, unfortunately, it wasn't able for Nana to come to the Netherlands because of paperwork and difficulties. And so, yeah, I decided to move to South Africa. And here
Mm.
we are trying to go in that process, but now still every 90 days I have to leave the country. So hopefully, we get the visa soon so I can stay, because otherwise I have to leave just before the 22nd of December, and it will be quite sad if we can't celebrate Christmas together. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to see how everything goes.
Yeah, this is so tough. I completely understand how tough it can be, and I think all of us who live abroad and have partner from different culture, like at some point we deal with the visas and permits, like either for us or for our partners, and it's really not easy, like both ways.
Mm,
So I really fingers crossed, like for you guys, that you manage to get all the permits, and yeah, it's can be lots of headaches, and yeah, I know it's
yeah.
tough. So you said the longest time you were without each other, it's 7 months. It was 7 months.
Yes, it was 7 months. And
How
the
did you
hardest part of
survive it?
these, yeah, so the hardest part was actually not knowing when we were able to see each other, because normally we have a date and then you can live up to that date. So what we did now was, actually what we always did is, like, we both had an iPad, and even if we had to work, then we would put the iPad next to us, and then we would basically FaceTime all day, all night, so that we would have each other's company. And we were able to do it because he was working in IT, so we would just put the iPad next to him, and then I was doing my final year paper, so I was able to work and put him next to me. And then if we had breaks, we would chat. Um, if we'd go to sleep, we'd put the iPad there, and then we said good night, and then it would, if the connection didn't drop, it would run all night, and then we would wake up, good morning, and yeah, so on. Yeah.
I never actually heard this solution. It sounds like that it really worked, and it's super original. So I love it. I did also, like, for me and my husband, the longest we have done was 7 months. When he was in Zambia, I
Mm,
was in Mongolia. And at least then we had a date, so that was making it easier. But also there
mm.
it was difficult because of the time difference. So it was 7 hours. So
Oh,
um,
that's quite a lot. Yeah, that is tough. So we were lucky because when it's summertime in the Netherlands, South Africa and Netherlands have the same time zone, so that is a huge help for us. But we only have 1 hour difference if Netherlands is in winter time. So even that, it's just 1 hour, it's already making it difficult. But if you don't have that for us is it really saved our relationship, because we're really big on what are you doing, what's happening. Just we are in constant communication, because even if we had the iPad on and he was in a meeting and he wanted to know something or I want to know something, we would still text. Like,
mm,
it was just being there the whole time whenever it was possible. Of course, we have moments where, for example, I had to work, and then we would only text or call in breaks, but we'd still try and keep each other updated as much as possible, keep each other included in your life. And that is what really made us, yeah, be able to go through with it. We had a lot of food together, so we would go, like, get a takeaway. So he would go to the KFC in South Africa, I would go to the KFC in the Netherlands. We would get a takeaway, and then we would eat the takeaway together. So, like, we did a lot of, like, those type of dates to, keep it fun and keep it as if you were in the same place, even though
yeah.
you weren't. But
Mm. As you said, I agree. Like the communication, even if we are in two different continents, it's so important. And it was same for me and my husband. Like there would be no day when we wouldn't speak to each other. There
mm,
would be like no day when we wouldn't text good morning, good night. Even if it was the 7 hours difference, I would usually wake up
mm,
at 2 a.m. just to check my phone, like for my good night message. And I
yeah,
think this is what makes the relationship survive. And actually, I think it
yes.
makes you stronger because you know you passed through 7 months without being together.
Yeah, definitely. It makes you realize that, yeah, not just you, but also your partner, you're in it for the same thing. You're in it for the long haul, and the funny thing is that we also did gain a lot of it because like you at the end of like the 7 months, we were really good at reading facial expressions and just looking at your person and seeing that, oh, something is off or something is wrong. Like, so as much as it really sucked that you couldn't hold each other, there were also positives. I mean, the communication was great. We were getting very creative. We're doing lots of projects together. So yeah, I mean, if from the start we had to do it again, I would probably say yes, because I mean, it was never ideal, but when you know you want to be with someone, that's like, there's no option to get out of it. It's just like you deal with it and you try and make the best of it. So,
Yeah, you just have to do what you have to do to make the relationship survive. And
yes.
Netherlands, South Africa. Did you? I have never been in South Africa and either Netherlands actually, so it
Mm.
will be interesting for me to learn.
Mm.
Did you have any like cultural differences that really surprised you or that caused some maybe misunderstandings? Can you think of some examples?
Yeah, no, definitely. So there are a few things that are definitely different, as in like how people greet you and treat you in Netherlands and South Africa. So Dutch people are very direct, very sometimes they can be even rude in the way they are direct. So for me, being here, communicating sometimes ends up in a small argument because I think that whatever I'm saying is the right way to say it. But if you translate Dutch to English straight away, it also comes across quite harsh. So sometimes you need to choose different words. So that's definitely something I've learned. So even, for example, in the supermarket, in the Netherlands, if you want something, you go there, you say, "Hey, I want cheese. Where's the cheese?" And then they just say, "Okay, that all, good luck." Here, if you don't start with "Hi, how are you, ma'am?" or "How are you, sir?" and you start with just "Hey, I want this," or they'll look at you and be like, "Yeah, you can get it yourself." If you greet nicely and they'll be like, "Oh yes, miss, yes," they even call you like my baby or my love. Here's it. Like they're so kind. I feel that they're very like open, with open arms in this country. Of course, you have people that aren't like that, but mostly what I've encountered, people are so friendly if you ask them things friendly, and that's definitely a big culture difference. And that I feel has to do a lot with belief, because I've been raised as an atheist, but in this country, even Nana is Christian, so that definitely helps with having a bit more eye for the people around you. And I feel that is sort of lacking in the Netherlands from how I grew up. So that's a huge difference.
Yeah, I was actually smiling because the example of supermarket, like you were saying, it happens to me sometimes. And I have been living in Africa for 12 years. And still sometimes when I'm in my head and I'm not really in the moment, I'm looking for something in the supermarket. Then I find the guy was like, "Where are the oats?" And then I remember like, oh, and then I'm like, "How are you, sir?"
Yeah.
So like we have it on autopilot. I think that we just go
Yes.
and ask, but
Mm.
here like it's good if you add that. How are you doing? How is your day? So it's funny we
Yes.
have exactly the same experience with this.
Yes. No, definitely.
Yeah, and actually, I find it interesting that you draw the connection between like how people are friendly with the atheism and Christianity, and it's same for us. My husband, he's Catholic. He says I
Mm.
am atheist, which I am not. I believe in something like higher power,
Mm.
but I don't
Mm.
have a religion. So it's it like I was curious, kind of, why do you think it's connected to Christianity, this like friendliness? Because with other interviews, we also talk about it, but nobody made the connection. So I was kind of curious.
Mm. Yeah, so I was raised as an atheist. Now I met Nana, so I'm basically starting my journey into Christianity, understanding, and I've been learning a lot from him, also from his mom. She's actually a pastor. Yeah, she spreads the word. And what I've learned mostly from Nana is that whenever there's an obstacle or when people are mean or rude, he doesn't like react instantly. He thinks about it, he lets it rest, and then if there definitely needs to be an action, he will take an action, but mostly he will let it like rest and play out. And then, not to say that you need to leave everything in the hands of God, because I don't think that's the right way to do it. He's definitely doing his own part. But at the same time, the message that we get in church a lot is like, treat your partner right, treat your elders right, treat your people around you right, everyone you meet, it's a brother or sister. And I think it's not just in Christianity, I think it's in all beliefs, because that is from what I've understood from everyone that believes in a God or in something, that everyone that's on this earth is either your brother or sister. So treat that person how you want it to be treated. And that's something that Nana is very high on. So he's always telling me that, oh, even if you don't like this person or you don't like what they're doing, they're still human and they have maybe a tough situation, that you think a bit further than being in that moment and reacting to your emotions, which is really difficult for me because I'm a very emotional person. So if someone says something to me that I find offensive or I don't really like, you can see it automatically, but I'm trying to learn to not respond on it with my emotions, but to take a step back and think about it. But I feel that in every type of belief that they will teach you this, and they will, keep on telling it like, just be kind to one another and give. So not a very different cultural thing. If I can just step in there, it's like whenever you park your car, or in this country in South Africa, when people put fuel in your car, petrol, and when they're done, I mean, you pay for the petrol, but we usually give them 5 or 10 rand or 20 rand, depends what we have in our wallet. And if you park somewhere your car, and you're there for an hour, you can step out of the car, there's a car guard, so you give that person a few rand, because they get paid, but out of the goodness of your own heart, can you miss those few rands? Yeah, okay, then why not give it to that person that isn't in such a fortunate position, because those aren't the best jobs. I mean, they probably don't live in a big house. They probably don't even have a car. So can you miss it yourself? Okay, yes. So also a bit more of the giving side is, yeah, what I feel they teach it.
Hmm. Yeah, I appreciate how you said it's kind of that every kind of teaching, they say similar things in maybe
Yes.
slightly different way. And even me, like in my coaching programs, like the way you said, it's good to stop in the moment instead of reacting immediately. Like this is
Mm,
also what I say. It's so important in the moment if you have argument with your partner or with somebody at work or whatever, negative emotions, like if you just can take even 10 seconds to just stop
mm,
and breathe and like decide if you want to react from anger or if you want to react like based on love, that we are all human beings. And also I got another, like I got thinking, as you said, like we are all human beings, and that we should treat people the way we want to be treated. And I think it also ultimately goes to self-love and self-worth,
mm,
because maybe we can talk about how you see it in South Africa, like from my Czech European view. It's we were kind of not taught how to love ourselves, like for the fact that we are human beings, that often we
mm,
love, like we attach the value of ourselves to our achievements or like how
mm,
well we are doing in life, but we don't
mm,
love ourselves for being the human beings, or in Christianity, like the how they say, the reflection of the God, kind of.
mm,
And I
mm,
think when we start loving ourselves, like as a human being, automatically we start appreciate others. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody working on a parking lot or if it's somebody
mm.
in the bank, but we are all the same human beings.
Yes, definitely.
And because yeah, I got carried away because I like this topic on the self love. Like, do you see like, is it different for Nana or maybe like general like South Africans, if it's really difficult to generalize, but
Mm,
like, as I was saying, like in my own experience, we are all brought up like to love, appreciate ourselves based on the achievements. Like, how is it
mm.
for him?
I think it really depends on, how you are as a person. He does, I mean, as a person, he values himself definitely, but he also has those characteristics to be like, okay, if I don't win this squash match, I'm not good enough. So it's definitely a reminder to him. I always remind him, like, okay, maybe you didn't win it, but you did one, two, three, So we both are very competitive. We both want to do well, especially when it comes to sports. So in that sense, we definitely need to help each other gain that self-love. So especially now that we're going up to the wedding, we're both trying to lose some weight. We're trying to be a bit fitter, not just for the wedding, definitely for long term as well. But I mean, the wedding does give you some extra motivation. And then, he's still sometimes like, oh, I don't feel fit enough. I'm like, yeah, but what is fit enough? Like, put a number on it, or like make it a goal that you can actually reach instead of saying I'm not fit enough. So we definitely help each other saying that, oh, you look good today. So if he dresses up, even if he's at home, I would tell him like, oh, you look handsome today. And he will be like, I'm like, yeah, okay, let me just say it because you're my partner. But he does the same thing when I dress up. He tells me I look beautiful. So, like, yeah, we definitely remind each other of that. And that really helps for your self confidence and self love.
Yeah, yeah, it's always good to hear, especially if we talk about the love languages. If your love
Mm,
language is like to hear the words of affirmation, it's super important. And actually,
mm,
since your wedding is almost in 1 week and a half, right?
mm.
And generally, weddings are very stressful for people, all the planning. And I can imagine if you come from two different countries, like how is it going, the planning? Did you encounter any differences how you wanted to celebrate your wedding, how he as a South African wanted to celebrate the wedding? How is that going?
So actually, there are a lot of differences because the weddings I remembered, I was quite young and it was not a lot of formalities. South African weddings, you have the ceremony, then you have the photo shoot, you need to make sure people get entertained. Then you have first dance, you have the meals, you have speeches, you have the cake cutting, you have the bouquet throwing, you have the father-daughter dance, you have the mother-son dance. Like there's so many things. So the first thing that I had to do is speak to Nana, saying like, "What is a South African wedding?" Because first we wanted to do it in the Netherlands so that both my parents were able to be there with us. Unfortunately, that didn't work out, so we changed it to celebrate in South Africa. And yeah, I needed to first know what is included in a wedding, and from there onwards, I just started to, make plans with the photographer and just trying to do the planning and the DJ and the decor and stuff like that. But yeah, I managed to do all of it almost on my own, and no, it's actually been very exciting. It's just been like, oh, do we need to do this too? Okay, let's go here. And then only 2 months ago, I went to go look out for my dress. So everything was sort of like short, but yeah, we made it work.
Yeah, yeah, I'm super exciting. I hope you will share some photos on Instagram later on. I wanted to ask, in South Africa, do you have also here in Zambia, they call it lineup. So it's usually a couple of like friends, like four couples who dance at the wedding, and there is like a special choreography for these couples. Do you have it also?
No, we actually still need to think and practice for a dance for ourselves, the opening dance actually. So yeah, we still need to choose the music and we still need to, I guess, practice or do something. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about it because like Nana's he can dance, so he can just lead me, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to have a great day. I want to have fun. If you plan everything to the T, you feel like, oh, now it's dinner, now we have to do this, and I just want to be there. And then people telling me, oh, now it's dinner, okay, cool, I'll eat. Now it's a speech, okay, I'll listen. Like, yeah, I just want to be there with family and friends because it's also first time that my dad will see Nana's mom, and that will be very special, and the whole family. So yeah, just really trying to enjoy the moment, having everyone there, and then the rest, the small things. We have a DJ, we have a photographer, we have the food. I mean, what more do you need? We have a pastor to do the ceremony, so
Yeah,
yeah, we
I
should
don't
be
know.
good.
I'm maybe getting old. Like I was, like the way you were talking about your father meeting Nana's mom. I was like about to cry. I was like, no, I don't want to cry. So you were saying you feel old at 26. So now I feel like super old. Anyway, um, so I hope it will go great and that you will have a wonderful day and especially the life after. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
And if you like, you have been with Nana, I think if I feel like 3 years and something, if
Yes.
I'm counting well. Um, what would be your tip for women who are in a relationship with a partner from abroad or specifically even from South Africa? What would be your advice to them if they are in the beginning of the relationship now to make
Hmm.
it work?
Oh, good question. So what helped me a lot is to understand your partner's personality type. So in the beginning, just even before we dated, we actually did a personality test just to understand your the person a bit more when they react a certain way that you can go back to like something to say like, oh, this is why this person reacts a certain way. So you have a deeper understanding. And I think what helped us is like we were very serious from the start. So if you want to go into a relationship, and especially if you are in long distance or any relationship really, just be open about what your intentions are for the relationship. And from the start, when we knew that okay, now it's getting serious, we just told each other like, yeah, I'm not here to play around. I want to make this work. I want to get married. I want to have children. I want to have a long future because both of our parents were married, and yeah, we had the same goal in life. And I think that helped us, me especially, because I knew that okay, even if we have an argument or something, he's not going to leave me just like that because we are in it for the long run. So we will have arguments, we will have disagreements, but that won't be the end. So
Mm,
we had a rule basically saying, okay, the only thing that we cannot accept from each other doing is when you step out of the relationship, as in like you cheat.
mm,
And we made cheating as like we said that okay, if you do this, this counts for cheating. If you do that, relationship is over. If that is not happening, there's nothing else that can stop us from not being together. So I think when you
mm,
I mean, it's very hard to say these things, I guess, in the beginning of a relationship or just before you start dating. But me, that helped me a lot because I've had experience in the past where I had a partner and we had an argument, and then he just thought that, oh, that's it, and left. So, like, that harmed me quite a bit. And now I always know that, okay, we can have an argument, we can have difference of opinion, we can speak about it, and we won't end the relationship because we have a differences. It actually makes us stronger because I am from Netherlands, he is from South Africa. He has been brought up very different than I am. And because in the future we want to have children, going into that direction in, understanding Christianity, understanding everything that is here, the culture, and that makes us, very rich because he understands the Dutch culture much more. I understand this culture, so you learn so much from each other, and just being very open. Don't discard anything. Don't say, "Oh, I don't want this because I don't know this." No, be open for it because you learn so much from it. It will make you a much better person.
mm. Yeah, I love that you say that it's like one, it's important to understand like the personality of the other person and from where the
Mm,
behavior comes from, because often I think we tend to kind of interpret everything personally. If something happens,
mm,
it's like personally targeted at us, and we often don't understand like why he acted a certain way, why
mm,
he was thinking. So I completely agree that it's super important to kind of always dig deeper and to kind of
mm,
try to understand like what is going on, because we all have past, we had different childhoods. As you said, we were brought up in very different ways. If we have partner from a different country, different continent, so it's
Definitely.
I think I need to follow you more. Like I like how innovative couple you are, because you were talking the way you were talking how you manage the long distance now that you took like a personality test together. So it's I really love it. It's super. I wanted to say cute, but I don't know if it was the word. And yeah, so that was very nice that you shared this, and I completely agree that it's so important.
Mm.
So thank you for that. It was really interesting. And yeah, we mentioned a few times. I mentioned your Instagram. You mentioned that like you both do fitness. So if somebody is interested to learn more about you, what you guys are doing, where they can find you.
Yeah, so it's basically Chocolate and Dutchy on almost all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We do have a Twitter, not very active. We do have a Pinterest, we're not very active. But yeah, you can basically find us everywhere. The content we share is very us. We don't do too much with it. We're just doing what we're doing. And then when we feel like sharing it, we share it sometimes. And if not, we'll be quiet for a bit. And yeah, we just really enjoy, because we've met so many amazing couples from being in a long distance relationship. We've met a lot of intercultural couples, which is great, because it made you feel like, oh, you're not the only one. And yeah, it made us deal with the distance and being intercultural couple much better, knowing that, yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah. So I will also include the links under the video so people can just click and go to your
Oh,
page.
that's cool. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and yeah, thank you so much. Once again, all the best with the wedding and married life.
Thank
And
you.
you come to Zambia, we have to meet, even though we don't live
Yeah.
in Africa. But it
Mm.
would be really nice to meet in reality, because we are basically almost neighbors.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Gonna
Okay,
plan
so
it.
have a wonderful day, and thank you for
You
coming.
too. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.